Hey, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whenever you happen to be catching this. This is the channel Agronomy Blitz, accelerated insights for your agronomic advantage. The May 19th edition coming to you this week, and I am Tyler Rugdenhill, technical agronomist for the Channel Seed brand here in South Central Nebraska. So, biggest news of the week, some very well welcomed rain events. Timely, probably would have been welcomed a little bit more 10 to 14 days ago, but beggars cannot be choosers, correct? So thank goodness. Hopefully breaking the trend and those keep coming. So with that, let's slide right into our our update for the Midwest. And those of you who've caught this in the past, you know I kind of have a little bit of a cadence to this. So we're going to start out looking specifically at growing degree units for the Midwest. So what does this mean overall? You're looking right now at the percent of average of growing degree days. So simply meaning, hey, if we're going through a normal year, or what this Mesonet website would consider normal, we'd be showing hundreds across the board. As we all know, that's not the case. So for central and south central Nebraska, I'd say, we're showing 127, 125, 136. So, very roughly 25 to 33 and a third, let's say, percent ahead of what we would consider being normal the 18th of May for growing degree day accumulation. Pretty common trend if you look across the Midwest. I mean, we're above average. I think 10% is maybe the lowest. I got a 4% down here in Kansas, but really ahead of the trend of what we would be considering normal this year for growing degree day accumulation. And I think we all experienced that with planting. So really quick, going into the total precipitation ranks by climate district here. Um, for the 29th of April through the 19th of May, if you look at this, and again, when you read this map, if you look in your district and you say, well, what's that number mean? Essentially, we're ranking them 1 through 133. So we got 133 years of data going all the way back to 1893 to, of course, currently in 2025. And basically, the bigger the number, the drier you are, as indicated by the numbers there in Iowa, and you can kind of see the legend on the right hand side, how much drier that would be or mean. So for South Central Nebraska, we're still in the 89th driest uh, time period of basically the end of April to the middle of May, a little bit past the middle of May. But you can see Iowa now shifting into some very serious conditions as we were here, you know, even in the last couple, say 48 hours, that widespread rain event gave us a lot of relief, but we still need to keep that trend coming to continue to, push yield potential to the utmost possible that we can at this point with the cards we've been dealt since planting. So as we go and we think about the cornfield today, what's going on. So, we've got corn anywhere from newly planted last week all the way up to nearing the V4 to even, I would say, consider some of the biggest stuff V6 in some cases. So what does this mean in the yield world? We get to V6, V5, V6. We're really building that factory. What's that mean? We're setting those rows around per ear. How big is this ear going to be? How much potential are we going to have when it comes to that? And if you haven't, go down and interact, do a Google search for Kansas State. That's where I'm getting all of this data for what's going on by growth stage. They've done a really nice job, not only in corn, but soybeans. I believe there's one even for wheat and milo as well. Don't quote me on that, but I know they have corn and soybeans. And then I included this data or this chart from University of Illinois. If you haven't watched anything on Dr. Fred Belo and the work that he's done over the past years, really encourage you to go and listen to him if you get the chance to hear him speak in person. If not, make sure you go and catch something on YouTube that he's done. But this is the 7 wonders of the corn yield world. And I wanted to talk about this week is to really stop and pause and allow us to, especially in South Central Nebraska, think about, okay, what have we put this crop through already? We got a rain event. We've got a little bit of time to sit back, breathe, think about, okay, where is my potential now? We've set some of these things in stone already. We have no control of weather. We've likely put some some of our nitrogen on, and we're considering what does the rest of that nitrogen plant need to look like with current prices and what the yield potential is left on the table. We've picked our hybrid. In most cases, there's a few fields left to be planted, but most of that's been done. Previous crop is already set. In a lot of cases, plant population is set. Tillage, a lot of these are already in play. So that's why I say a lot of times it's a good idea to stop, pause, and think about where do we go next. And a good thing to think about, and again, this is a really nice chart. It's been used in a lot of presentations, both university and just in general. I got this from Mike Peterson in one of his presentations. Just thinking about, okay, if we were trying to go for 400 bushel corn, uh, this is what it would take from a yield from a nutrition standpoint, rather. uh, but rather, I like to think about this and look at it as, when does this crop need the most nutrition at what critical stages? So that's why I say uh, it's a good idea to kind of stop, pause, think about, am I still at my maximum potential that I could possibly raise on that field? And if I am, what is my fertility plan? What is my pesticide plan from here on out? If not, where do I need to look at doing some things differently? How am I going to manage for the risk that's still ahead of me in this growing season? So I say that because we've applied some, but probably not all of our nitrogen. We've got a big upkick coming. Uh, you can see from about week 5 to, let's say, week 9, right? Big upkick in nitrogen. A lot of guys still thinking about putting on side dress in some form or fashion, but I'm guessing there's some conversations going on of how many pounds do I put on, if I have the ability to fertigate or do things with a wide drop system, how am I going to space this risk out? So definitely be thinking about that. Again, a rain event takes us from, I don't want to say famine to fortune in a lot of ways, uh, because we're a long way from that. We need a lot more rain events before we get there, but it definitely recalibrates our mind to think, hey, where do we go from here? Some other work that I've been doing, not all products are created equally. We all know that. There's different emergence scores on different products for different reasons. Why I bring this up is, we as an agronomy group internally in Bayer, and then in my conversations with uh, independent crop consultants and just growers in general, um, make sure we're going out and taking plant stands, looking at stands in the field. Uh, what looks good at 55 sometimes does not look so hot at walking speed. So again, does this mean that a product's absolutely going to fall apart because it's the lowest in a plot for plant stand? Not necessarily, but it definitely gives a good general indication of how many plants are out there and how many ears that means that those additional plants are going to be able to put on in excess compared to the guy next to him. So to me, it's the first general indication of, hey, who's ahead of the game in yield, and who's probably falling a little bit behind. So if you've got some new products in mind for this growing season, just like I'm sure everybody does, get with your local TA, get with your field sales rep, all those good folks that have been out walking plots. Ask about those new products. What's looking good? What's maybe not looking so good? And as always, hey, always appreciate the time. Be safe. Again, there's still a ton going on in the field as we continue to wrap up planting here in a lot of different states. Continue to be safe. Get home at night to the people we all care and love. And thank you for your business. If we can do anything, please reach out to help. And we will see you next week.